Now I'm going to show you how to plan for the orientation to the new book. And the way that works is you're going to basically plan, kind of script out what you want to say to the students. And then you're going to plan some predict and locate words for students and really think about what it is you need to do to introduce this story to students. Now, the thing that you need to think about, especially with a transitional level, is how much guiding do you need to provide the students? Now, the thing that with this book, it's called The Beach. Maybe you might feel that they're really struggling with, maybe they might struggle with not knowing much or have much background information about beaches because they've never been there. Now, in this particular book, it's a realistic fiction. There's really not a lot of vocabulary. There's a few things as far as hermit crab or starfish and so forth that they may not have much background. And maybe you want to front load some of that with them by, I always like to provide pictures, video, something like that would be good, especially for ELL learners. Um, but you don't want to give so much um, assistance and guidance with the text and the words that students you don't allow for them to think for themselves. So building background is not teaching every word to the student. It's more about what is it that they need to know to really understand the text in a deep way. So that's what I want you to think about. Now, as far as your orientation, it's very simple. You say, today we are going to read the book The Beach. So you tell them the name of the book. It is about two girls who go to the beach and find a lot of interesting things. So you tell them, a little snippet. And then let's read to find out what the girls found at the beach and what they did with the things they found. And that gives them a purpose for reading. So that's what they're looking for. What did they do at the beach? What did they do with those things? Now, you can also, in this um, area, you can make predictions. Maybe you want them to read um, to a certain page. If there's a good place to provide a prediction, then maybe you want to do that. Or maybe you want to do the front cover. What do you think this story is going to, based on the cover, what do you think this story is going to be about? Now, with this particular book, let's look at it. Go to the front. The beach. You can't really get a lot. It's kind of hard to tell that that's a beach anyway. So that might not be something that you'd want to do with this particular book, but that's something that you can think of with other stories. Um, as far as the predict and locate, if there's some unfamiliar text structure that you want to talk about, then that would be something here you could do. If it's something, the way maybe it's something that they, it's not how we would normally say it, um, then that might be something you'd want to talk to them about. The predict and locate is really your front loading of relevant vocabulary. And here you might want to choose one or two high frequency words or vocabulary words that students may need assistance reading. And so I like to include the pages with that. So here, it is about things on the beach. So maybe I want to do hermit crab. And let's say with the word hermit, I want to ask them this question. What would you expect to see at the beginning, middle, and end of the word hermit? Okay, so I think it's on page 7. Let's go quickly to page 7 and make sure that that's where hermit is. Yep, there's hermit right there on page 7, and put that in my lesson. But like, one of the reasons why I want to do hermit is because hermit when we did the taking apart of the two-syllable words, I want them to really think about the beginning, middle, and end of a word. What would you expect to see at the beginning of hermit? What do you see in the middle? It, hermit. And then so they've thought about it, about really going through and searching through that whole word. They've also learned about two-syllable words. And so hopefully with getting them thinking about that, when they come to some of the other two-syllable words, they're able to do that. So hermit helps me with building that vocabulary that they may be unfamiliar with, but it also helps me with that searching through the word strategy and the syllable strategy. Now, another high frequency word is now. They may have trouble with that word. You wouldn't necessarily need to say what would you expect to see, but if they're having trouble with beginning and ending, I wouldn't think by this time in a level 18 they would have that trouble, but um, I would say that you're probably good with these two words. There's probably other choices, but these are two that I just chose from this book. So now you're going to send your kids to read, and my next video is going to talk just a little bit about what you're going to do while they read and then once they're finished reading.